Gotta be fucking kidding.
Here's the first movie.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Peel that pig and slice him thick.
The body count is always bigger.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
The fucking trees walked in those movies.
Hi, doggy.
What a story, Mark.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Life moves pretty fast.
If you want your sequel to become a franchise.
37 dicks.
In a row?
I'm your number one fan.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Marathon Me with your hosts Rhys
and Kane.
Sorry,
I was just gonna say, like, my word, it's been too long since we've done one of these.
It has been a crazy bunch of time for us. For you guys, it's been a couple of weeks off. For us, it feels like a few months off.
Yeah, maybe like 2 to 3, I reckon.
Yeah, and it feels wrong. I miss talking like this, being like...
Yeah.
It's not like that I don't see you every other day, Kane, but still, it's different to be talking to you on this forum and for everyone to actually hear what's going on.
Like, obviously, we've had plenty of, like, movie discussions and all that, and talking about just general media, but it's been a long time since, we've done it in a professional recorded setting, and it feels really good to be back in the nitty-gritty, the podcast setting, where our passions can finally be broadcast to all of you guys.
So, Kane and Rhys have always been there, but Marathon Me, they're back. They're back.
They're back and better than ever, baby.
Yep, exactly. So, this is just a quick update podcast to tell you guys what's been going on, why there's been a drought, alongside the actual legitimate floods that are going on in our areas of Melbourne.
Yeah, nice little polar opposites, drought in the podcast. Complete opposite in Melbourne, Victoria.
We should just use the mental stress of that is actually what's been delayed the Marathon Me production.
Yeah, the flooding has really affected me heavily, even though I live like on a hill.
Oh yeah, the house that I live in and our technical studio is also like on this very, very steep hill road that if the floodwaters hits our house, then that means that there would be like houses down our street that are completely submerged for like meters and meters.
Like, that would be like full on like almost day after tomorrow levels of flooding.
Yes, it would be. It totally would be. But that hasn't been why Marathon Me has taken a hiatus.
No.
I'm very sorry for leaving everyone in the dark about it, but the actual reason is because we have big life updates to talk to you guys about.
We do, especially you, Rhys, especially you.
Yeah, completely, man. So, what has happened in the last few months since we've spoken, as in, like, the audience, everyone out there, is that I have a new job. I no longer am working, I'm no longer working at JB Hi-Fi. I now got a publicity job working in film and TV, so I'm in the industry now.
Man's making big moves in the industry. Let's go. How long were you at JB for, Rhys?
I was at JB for exactly 3 years.
3? I always imagined it being 4. So you started in 2019, right?
I started in 2019, the day before our English exam for Year 12.
Wow, really?
The night before, yep.
For some reason, I always imagined you starting in 2018, like the end of 2018 for some odd reason. I don't know why.
Because time doesn't exist. That's why. Because time's been so crazy. Time
is just a social construct. It's not real.
So I get you. I get where you're coming from. It feels like I've always been there.
Yeah. Really. No, it really has. It's like me at my job. I feel like I've just been there the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It becomes a part of your identity, right?
Yeah,
like
literally.
I felt like it defined me, and it was sort of like tricky when giving that up and going to this new job.
Oh, I can imagine.
To find who I was again without having JB Hi-Fi as like where I go every day.
Yeah, it's like where do you go from here? Like it's like starting. It's like going through a breakup and then starting a new relationship. It's like I gotta rebuild this foundation kind of thing.
Completely.
Obviously not as detrimental as like a past relationship ending and then a new one beginning. You know what I mean?
Potentially more detrimental. Potentially with a job.
Potentially, yeah. There's a lot more risk factor. Yeah, actually, that is true.
Especially with like,
but a lot more reward factor as well.
Well, it depends.
It depends.
Yeah, with can't put a number on how much love can be worth. But like for me, for instance, another big part of this new job that will be quite like the biggest hole on the podcast.
Oh yeah, here we go. The big bombshell is coming.
Is that Rhys Marks, the Melburnian, is now having to move to Sydney.
He has betrayed us. All our Melbourne listeners at home, one of the co-hosts is betraying us and leaving us behind.
But how wonderful is this going to be? You know, now we're just opening ourselves up to a whole new listener base of Sydney-siders.
That is a good point. That is a very good point.
So I'm moving to Sydney, and this is happening in exactly 2 weeks from now, which is terrifying. I only moved out of home for the first time a few months ago, and now I'm just diving into the deep end. I don't know anyone in Sydney besides the people that I'm working with, and but as nervous as it's making me, I'm more excited. Like that definitely outweighs it.
Oh yeah,
and I cannot wait. It's going to be a big step that, like, in my life and who I'm going to become. For
it's like any like big life changing event. It's like, I'm sure you were nervous. There was maybe some nerves going around when you moved out from your parents to come live in the share house.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah. Like, you know, that's just an example. But like, you know, big life updates. You know, they are always coming with nerves and all that. But like you know, there's a lot of risk. You know, there's a risk, but there's the reward. Like the risk of like, oh, you're nervous, you're worried. You know, you get all paranoid and anxious. That like, oh, maybe it might not go well. Maybe I might regret this. But if you don't take those chances, then, you know, you can live the rest of your life regretting them and all that. And that's why, you know, when you have these big life updates, like, you know, you going to Sydney and all that for this job, it's better to take it and just, you know, see what happens.
Just roll with it.
Even if it's terrible, you can at least look back on that period and just be like, I did that. And you know what? I've gotten a lot of development from it because of it.
You were completely right. I could not agree more, because this is like the worst case scenario for me in my head with this job is that I moved to Sydney and let's just say I hate it, even though that I don't think that I will, because I've been working remotely for it for the last 2 months and I do quite like it. Let's just say that I moved there and I completely hate it. I'm there for a year and then I moved back to Melbourne and I'm 22 years old and I've gotten a year of experience doing this, working in publicity and also living in Sydney, and then I can go the rest of my life knowing I don't want to do that. That is the worst case scenario, and it's just me figuring myself out a little bit more. So there's so who knows what's like actually where my life is actually going to be taking me from here. But I could not be more excited for it. And another big thing too, and the reason why we haven't been able to do these podcasts is because for a majority of the drought time, I've been balancing a full-time job with also finishing off uni.
You've been swamped, my man.
It is. I do not recommend it. I don't recommend to have a full-time job and do uni at the same time.
There were so many moments where I would be talking to this man, or like I'd see him and he would just look so drained, sometimes so crushed as well, just from the amount of pressure he was putting on himself. And I got to respect that, you know, like a lot of people, you know, not a lot of people can like go through that and actually like come out the other side, not just completely just like withered away. Like obviously, you know, you were very tired and, you know, exhausted and lethargic and all that, but you still came out the other side, you know, I'd say, you know, not too wounded, you know what I mean?
Thank you, my man.
Yeah, no worries.
And I did get through it. Uni is over. I'm now a uni graduated man.
He is a graduate. That is insane to fathom in my eyes. I don't know why. It's just wow.
It feels weird because it feels like we just finished high school, right?
Yeah.
But the day that I submitted my last assignment, I was a new man. I was completely refreshed. Nothing could take me down. I put in the oven a HSP that was left over from the night before, right after I submitted this assignment, got it out of the oven, it burnt my hands, and I dropped it all over the floor, and I was like, you know what? Nothing's taking me down. And then that night, Lawrence, my housemate, broke my TV by accident. It was the same night. It was the same night.
Oh my god.
But I was like, you know what? It's a TV. There's many other things more important. I was a little bit upset, but I moved on because I know that because I was on such a still natural high that I'm still on, and it's been a week.
Yeah, no, that's just so good to hear, honestly, and just so good to actually see as well. Like, you know, when I'm seeing you, you know what I mean?
And it meant that we have time to do this again.
Oh, it's so good. Like, you know, you've been busy doing all your stuff and all that. I haven't exactly been that level of busy, obviously. Like, I'm not in uni at the moment, but I have, you know, I've been working and all that. You know, I work every week, you know, Monday through Fridays, and, you know, I've got a busy schedule and all that. But, like, you know, sometimes I'd have those nights and I'd be like, damn, I just really want to do Marathon Me, but that loser Rhys, that stupid head Rhys, oh man, he's too busy. He's too busy doing his stupid responsibilities.
There honestly is like it's a very weird thing that I'm still trying to adjust to is making plans as adults because you don't all have the same schedules all the time. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we pushed through, and it was also like a big time for you because you're experiencing full-time work for the first time.
Yeah.
Getting into like adult life.
Well, I mean, I've been like working there. I've been working as a kitchen hand dishwasher since like April, but like I'm really like starting to like recently these last couple of months. I really feel like I've like grown accustomed to like the work, and also like I feel like I actually like fit in there. Like
that's so good, man.
Yeah, like when I used to work at Pancake Parlor, I never felt like I fit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, comparing that job to the current job I'm working, it's so much better. I like it. Like I wake up, I go to work, and I don't like, you know, feel miserable or like or anxious. You know what I mean?
Thank God. Yeah, that's so good, man.
yeah.
And you can see it in you without a doubt. Like when you come over here and when I see your face, you seem far more happy and satisfied with your life.
Yeah.
Which is a pleasure to see.
It's also just great, like, because I'm on my feet, like, pretty much every day of the week. Like, I'm active, I'm doing stuff, and I feel a lot more, like, better, I feel a lot more, like, energized than I have in, like, the last year, you know what I mean?
Kane is becoming a better man every day, and you can see it.
Damn straight, looking good, feeling good.
Yeah. But what does this mean for the future of Marathon Me?
Well, that's a good YouTube thumbnail title right there.
Exactly. That's like going to be the like high impact font on our thumbnail. But so what does it mean for you guys, for the listeners? Nothing will feel like that it's changing because what we're going to try and do is I'm still going to be coming down to Melbourne quite a lot. And we're just going to try and get as much backlog done as possible when we can, so you can still receive an organized and consistent schedule of episodes.
Hopefully still get your weekly dose of Marathon Me goodness.
Yeah, there might... So we would appreciate your patience in case it doesn't work some weeks, but you should still be getting them weekly. And we'll still be able to do this. And one thing that I'm honestly very excited about when going to Sydney is that I will record a crazy amount of the episodes when I'm down here, but then I'll be able to edit them in Sydney, and it'll keep me connected to my social life and to Marathon Me, even though that I'm not physically with Kane all the time.
Oh, you'll be able to hear my voice. You can listen if you miss me a lot. You can just listen to like one of our older episodes while you're sleeping. Oh,
I will still hear your voice played back for hours every week because of editing this podcast.
Well, hopefully you don't get too sick of it, but I reckon, you know, I've got such a lovely sultry voice that I reckon you'll be alright.
It is far more likely that I'll get more sick of my voice than yours. So I think that's close to the reality. But yeah, is there like we already have in the works plan that the next franchise that you're going to be hearing us talk about is going to be the American Pie franchise.
Did we mention in the previous episode us like teasing American Pie? Did we say that in like our final one?
I don't know because it's been too long.
Well, just in case we didn't, surprise! We're doing American Pie, guys.
Yes, we are going to do that, and then we will also find some sort of Christmas themed thing to marathon after that. We're still trying to make up our minds.
Yeah.
So if you have any suggestions, please call us out on our socials or email us.
We were thinking about doing the Die Hard movies since technically they are at least the first one is considered a Christmas movie, but I think, at least for me, I don't know so much about you, but at least for me, I think after doing like such action-heavy movies like the Predator series, I'm just kind of burnt out on talking about action films, especially because like I know they're not your favorite genre, they're not mine either, and I feel like there's just not a lot to like really. I feel like there won't be a lot to grasp on with those movies. At least I don't know, because I've only seen the first one, so who knows? Maybe there's some deep, meaningful lore behind the John McClane character.
Maybe we can analyze the shit out of them and still find something.
I reckon we could definitely find something. We found a lot of stuff with Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh yes, yeah, and I think that we're gonna find stuff with American Pie as well.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, yeah. But like, I don't know, I just was not really hot on the idea of doing the Die Hard movies.
We'll find something else then. Please,
no, we will.
Please suggest things to us listeners because we're looking for ideas. And then after that, we're going to go back into our horror thing, and I think that we're going to do Friday the 13th.
Yes, I am so keen for this, and plus this will be really good because, you know, technically Marathon Me was kind of first really constructed thanks to the Friday the 13th series.
It was. It honestly was. It was before Marathon Me was Marathon Me, and Kane and I would just marathon movie franchises together. That was the first one that we agreed to do.
Yeah,
and it spawned all of this.
That was like we started doing that at the end of 2018.
Yes, yeah, I'm quite sure.
Wow,
we can be all poetic about it at the start of that franchise.
We
can tell a long story about the birth of this concept.
That would be very nice.
Yeah.
I'm really keen for
the
that.
The first
honestly.
people to ever talk about movies and then distribute that Vox Pop.
The first ever movie podcast.
Yep, exactly.
Where you finally get to learn the origin.
The first time man thought to record himself talking about movies.
And joke around with his mate while talking about said movies.
Exactly.
Never been done before. No, no, sir.
So I think that we'll leave it at that, really. We're going to try and also swear a little bit less, I think, because
I think you mean I'm going to try to swear a little less.
I think so, yes.
I think, don't try to loop us both into this. We know I'm the one who's to blame for this.
I had a family 21st birthday where I went to the bathroom, came back, and I could hear my family talking about, we really like the podcast, but there's too much swearing. There's just too much of it. And I'm like, fine, okay, we'll turn it down. And my mum tells me very often that she'll be like, there'll be so many more people that would listen to this if you do not swear. And it's like, okay, that it's not essential to the actual podcast, so fair enough.
Now, can I just ask, swearing, fair enough. What about describing disgusting things? Because we're going to be describing a lot of disgusting stuff in our next series.
I think that it's a quality of the beast, like we've got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no way we can really skip around it. So
I think that it's just like, we've got to just cut out the C words, try and limit the F-bombs a bit, but we can still talk about disgusting. It's still not going to be kid friendly.
I mean, obviously we're talking about bloody American Pie. So.
Yeah, exactly. What children are expecting a family friendly analysis of American Pie?
Oh my goodness.
Well, anyway, speaking of that, we will let you all go, lovely listeners, and see you next week for our American Pie marathon.
See everybody. Have a lovely night.
And don't forget to check out our Facebook page at Marathon Me Official, all one word, and our Instagram, MarathonMe_official, to keep up to date on the podcast. And hey, if you want to get into contact with us, email us at marathonmepodc, yes, the letter C, @gmail.com. Like podcast without the arse.